Clint, this has been a lot different year for you than it was last year when you didn't play a whole lot. You got to play a little bit, but the toll on your body now, starting every game, how's it been? How's it been to be a full-time starter?
Well, I'd say as far as toll on my body, funny thing is it's probably about the same.
Really?
Last year, I was backup 5, so you're going to practice against Dylan, 2.5
Right.
hours every day, and that's a load too. So honestly, it hasn't been too much of a toll. It's much more body-wise, but let's just say that it's been a lot more fun.
Right. Well, yeah, it is good to play, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, and you've played very well against guys that are bigger than you. And Coach Holly told a story after the game the other day. He said that you no longer ask how tall the guy is, you ask how wide he is when you're getting ready for a game. And is that the biggest difference, maybe playing the 5 as opposed to playing a 4?
Yeah, pretty much the higher you go up those positions, 4 or 5, whatever, the bigger the guys get. And I guess it's funny he would say that, but it is kind of true because as far as when you're a shorter, smaller guy, it's all about leverage.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't necessarily care as much how tall is that guy because if he's standing straight up, I can push him out. But the more weight that guy's got, the harder he is to get around and harder he is to move.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, which end of the court is harder, offensive or defensive for you in that regard?
I'd say definitely defensive, just because those guys are so much bigger. A lot of times they can get the positioning that they want unless you work extremely hard and you just kind of outsmart them, beat them to positions, beat them to spots. Offensively, it's not as much of a challenge simply because although they are a lot bigger than I am, a lot of times I'm quicker than they are, and I'm able to kind of have a mismatch in that way, the same way they have a mismatch on me in some way at the other end.
Does that pay off when we see you get a breakaway, when you run the floor and get down to the other end before your opponent, the guy you're matched up with?
Absolutely.
Is that a lot of fun for you?
It's absolutely fun to get easy baskets, and helps our team a lot when we get those easy transition baskets as opposed to putting pressure on our half-court offense. For me, sure, I'm dealing with a lot bigger guys, so the more easy baskets I can get, whether that's fast break, whether that's working for an offensive rebound, the more that helps my team and the higher percentage of a shot that it is.
Sure. Let's talk about school a little bit. You told me recently that you're going to go toward med school now after you graduate at Jewel, and what's your career course right now?
It's always one of those things that's kind of up in the air. You kind of you lean towards a certain direction, but I haven't quite pinpointed it yet. I have been looking into interventional radiology. That's something I may want to pursue after med school, but med school you're talking another 4 years to kind of figure that out before you decide on a specialty.
Is school easy for you? Is it? Are you one of those guys that can kind of cruise through things?
Some people would say yes, but at the same time, it's mostly just about how much you put into it. College is all about how you manage your time, and I put a lot of time into it, and so I think that's why I get the results that I get.
That is the thing I hear over and over again from athletes, is that managing your time is the key. And did you come to Jewel with that skill, or is that something you've developed here in the last year and a half?
I think I came to Jewel with somewhat more of that skill than, say, most kids come to school, simply because I was homeschooled up until high school. Now, high school I wasn't, but homeschool was a lot like college, and you had to manage your time, and once you got done with something, you move on to the next thing. And so I was able to prioritize and get things done efficiently in as small a time as possible. I think that's really helped me with college.
Basketball takes a great deal of your time, I know that. Are you kind of looking forward to the point in the season when you won't be under the gun to do a 2.5-hour basketball practice and all that kind of stuff? Because I know your schoolwork keeps you really busy.
Well, sure. There are always pros and cons to being in season or out of season. I love playing, and at the same time, it's nice to really focus in on studies. I think it's all about just, I'm here right now, and so I'm going to take the positive of what I've got now, and then when I get there, the off season, I'll, hit the weight room harder and work on individual skill work. Sure, you find something positive in each situation, and I'm really loving where I'm at right now, being able to play as much as I am and have as good a time as I'm having.
How did you end up coming to Jewel? What was the recruiting process like, and why did you decide to come here?
I came to Jewel, a lot of reasons was because it was close to my family. I knew from my past family experience. The Jewel was a great school. Holly was a great coach. My brother Kirk, oldest brother Kirk, played here for a couple of years. So it was a place I felt comfortable. And at the time when I made my decision, my brother had brain cancer. So staying close to the family and being connected was something that was very important to me. So that's a lot of the reason that I came to Jewel as opposed to somewhere on the East Coast or West Coast.
You are close geographically to your family, but also mentally close to your family, I guess, or emotionally close. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Well, I have 5 siblings: Kirk, Carolyn, Keith, Connor, who passed away, and Clay. They're my best friends. Whenever I get a chance to go home on the weekends, that's where I'm at. That's probably why I'm not as well known on campus, because I'm always going home.
Right.
So, and I love being with my family and being able to have my family come to the games as much as they do. My grandparents and uncles and aunts live just about 15 minutes from here. It's probably one of the best things about my experience at Jewel.
Tell us a little bit about your mom and dad.
Mom and Dad, Leslie and Jim. My dad played ball at Wichita State, and my mom would have played if she could have, but that was before girls were allowed to play college ball. So you could say that basketball's kind of just been in our family for a long time. They're both people of faith, very strong in their faith. Their faith's very important to them, and seeing that in them has really defined who I am. And what's important to me in life, my faith and my family, before basketball or school or anything. So really who they are has shaped me for who I am, and I'm very grateful to them for that and wouldn't change it for the world.
I know your faith is very important to you, and what I'd like to ask you is, how do you blend the competitive fieriness on the court with your faith? How do they work together?
There's nothing wrong with passion. God's given me a set of talents, and the more I can use those for His glory and the more effort I give, that's all that matters. Before every game, I point upwards, because my game, however I play, whether that's good or bad or whatever, I'm simply giving my best. And at the end of the day, I know that as long as I give my best, God will be happy with me and what I'm doing, and so I'm happy with myself.
Clint, finally, what is one thing that maybe your teammates or people here on campus don't know about you that you'd like for them to know about you?
I'd simply say kind of basically what I've already said. My faith is the most important thing to me.
Clint McCullough has been our guest on the HyVee Halftime Report. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we'll be right back after this.